When my wife Aurelia mentioned she was going on a reunion trip with her college friends, I didn't think much of it. She'd been distant lately. But I blamed work stress. It's just a few days in Chicago, she said, zipping up her suitcase. You trust me, right? That should have been my first warning. People with nothing to hide don't ask for reassurance. I smiled and said, Of course. Still, something about her excitement felt off. The way she checked her phone, the secretive little smiles, the clothes she quietly slipped into her bag. I noticed it all. I just didn't say a word. That night, after she fell asleep, I gave into a gut feeling and checked her messages. Normally, I wouldn't, but something screamed that something wasn't right. What I found made my stomach turn. A long thread with her ex, Darian, the man she said was just a friend. The messages weren't casual. They were explicit. Can't wait to see you again. Same hotel, he wrote. Same room, she replied. My hand shook, but I didn't confront her. I just stared at the screen until I went numb. 11 years of marriage, and she was planning betrayal under the guise of nostalgia. But instead of anger, a cold clarity settled over me. The next morning, she acted normal. She kissed my cheek and said, Don't wait up for me. Okay, have fun, babe, I said, smiling. For a moment, she froze, probably because I was too calm. Then she left, suitcase rolling down the driveway, humming. The moment her car disappeared, I called an old friend, a private investigator named Cale. Follow her, I said. Don't interfere. Just watch. He didn't ask questions. He'd seen enough marriages collapse to recognize the signs. Within hours, he sent me photos. Aurelia checking into the hotel alone at first, then meeting Darian at the bar. My pulse didn't even quicken. I had a plan. That evening, I booked a last-minute flight to Chicago. I wasn't going to beg or argue. I wanted the truth in her own words. I checked into the same hotel under a different name and told Cale to keep watching. Around 8 p.m., he texted, They're heading up to room 812. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm. I rode the elevator up, stood outside the door, and listened to the faint laughter. Hers. Once my favorite sound. Now hollow. I inhaled, knocked twice, and waited. The door opened. Darian, shirt half button, looked shocked. Behind him, Aurelia froze like a ghost. Silas, what are you doing here? She whispered. I smiled, steady. Business trip, I said simply. Didn't expect to run into you. Darian tried to speak, but I raised a hand. Relax. I'm not here to fight. My voice was calm, measured. I just came to say 2 words. Aurelia's eyes darted nervously, lips trembling. What 2 words? She asked, voice cracking. I looked her in the eye and said softly, We're done. Those words hit harder than any argument. She stumbled wide-eyed, tears forming. Silas, please wait. It's not what it looks like. No, I said quietly. It's exactly what it looks like. Darian puffed up, trying to act heroic. Hey, man, she's not happy with you. Let her go. I turned to him, calm as ever. Darian, you can keep her. Just make sure you can afford her. He frowned. What does that mean? I handed Aurelia an envelope. Divorce papers, already signed. You just need to add yours. Then I looked at Darian. Oh, and you might want to check your company email tomorrow. HR doesn't usually appreciate employees sleeping with clients' wives. Darian's face drained. You're the client? I nodded. The biggest one your firm has. Aurelia looked like she might faint. Silas, please don't do this here, she whispered. You did this here, I said calmly. You chose him. You chose this room. You chose this ending. I turned to leave, but she grabbed my wrist, sobbing. Silas, I made a mistake. I looked her dead in the eye. No, Aurelia, you made a choice. I'm just finishing it. Then I walked out, leaving her standing there, half-dressed, humiliated, broken. On the flight home, I didn't cry. I didn't even think. I just felt free. Years of subtle disrespect, manipulation, and guilt-tripping evaporated in those 2 calm words. When I landed, I blocked her number, called my lawyer, and filed immediately. By morning, the news had spread. Darienne was fired, reputation ruined. Aurelia called from unknown numbers, leaving tearful voicemails. I didn't respond. I'd already said what needed to be said. Weeks later, I ran into one of her friends at a cafe. She said Aurelia was struggling, moved back with her parents, jobless, ashamed, barely eating. I nodded silently. Some people only see your value after they've lost your peace, not your presence. She asked if I still loved Aurelia. I smiled faintly. Love doesn't survive betrayal, but lessons do. Months passed. Life felt quieter, simpler. I focused on myself, my work, my peace. One afternoon, I received a message from an unknown number. I still can't forget the way you looked at me that night. I didn't reply. Calm revenge doesn't shout. It doesn't rage. It just ends everything with quiet finality. My wife planned to sleep with her ex on a trip, but my two calm words made her freeze. And in that silence, she finally heard the truth. You never win when you betray the person who stays calm. If this story resonated with you, like the video and subscribe. Your support helps bring more real stories to life. Stay tuned. The next chapter is